Hello! Microphone. Hello! According to my bot, you guys joined chat after you typed in it. That's clever. Hello! Hello the Truffus. Hello the Chib. Yes, hiss. Indeed. Yeah. But welcome to Relaxo stream. I don't know what music's appropriate for this, so let's go for Castlevania, because why not? Feels like it should be appropriate. That'll do. Nope. That'll do. There we are. Ghosts for writing. Ah, you have your chat messages ghost written. That's turn down you. Logarithmic scales, honestly. Okay, actually have a Saturday morning to chill. Yay! How's me? I'm okay. Cool. Cooler than I have been in the last couple of days. That's for sure. I do not envy Chibi for having to stream on Thursday. You're feeling kind of sick for most of the day. Oh no. Oh no. Well, do things that are good for helping you not feel sick. Whatever that may be for your particular body. Yes. If that means not watching the stream, so be it. Probably the heat got to you. Probably, yes. Heat has been exceptional the last few days. We had a storm yesterday morning, and I was like, thank God. Finally, something to break this heat. And then it just turned into a very hot and very humid day. So, yay. Been sleeping and watching Drawfee. Yay! I've been catching up on the more recent Drawfee beans. They're quite a nice time. Good thing to have on in the background and such. Same here. Yeah. Because I haven't watched Drawfee for a while. I've mentioned this before. Not for any reason, I just haven't. So I haven't seen a lot of stuff with Karina in it, and she's a sort of nice a nice different sort of dynamic to the group. It's very cool. Grading and being disappointed in my students' inability to read a book. It's the perpetual problem. Hotness, then storm, then hotness and stickiness. Yeah, that's the one. Because usually in my head, whether or not this is a reality, a storm breaks the heat. But this time it didn't. It just accentuated it. Oh well. Anyway, let's get cracking with something actually visual, because this is stream time. Usually it does, but not on Friday it didn't. Ho-hum. So any of you who may possibly understand what the title is will probably know what at least we're going to start doing. I don't know whether we'll do this the whole stream. Maybe I'll draw 3 things and then we'll just talk for the rest of it. That's what happened last time. Friday's a special day with special needs. Oh, poor thing. Needs a little bit of. Oh, stop it with the songs. They're probably going to get copyright strikes and stuff. So yeah. How many people do understand the title? I'd be interested to know. Hang on. It is a weird sort of thing, isn't it? The arms come from the head. So yeah, I've been watching things in the background while working, and some of those things have been old, but things that I liked, and had a thought of, I should watch that again. Why not? And one of those things was Trapdoor, which was an old, from before I was born actually, claymation show. About a bunch of monsters that come out of a trapdoor, and this friendly egg, Burke, I think, is it Bert or Burke? Not sure. Who's like a servant in a castle, and like makes things for him upstairs who you never see. Just constantly being a bit of an idiot and letting things out of the trapdoor where the monsters live. There's always something down there. So I just thought I'd draw some monsters from Trapdoor, because why not? Yeah, that's pretty much Burke. There's always something down there. You've heard we talked about Trapdoor before. It's a good show. I mean, it's as good as you can expect from an independent company who made 35-minute claymation shows. But it's a good idea. I'd be cool if they brought that back. Okay, simple egg. If you're gonna make a claymation character, make them simple. I don't know why his arms come out of his head. Slightly wobbly hand. Been hunting down cartoons from your childhood, so you're not alone. Marvellous. What ones have you been watching or hunting? Or I guess if you've been hunting them, you might not know. You might just have the briefest glimpse. I was going to say. The briefest glimpse of a memory. And you're going, what was that? I had that recently, and I worked out that it was, I can't remember exactly the title. It was something like Oscar's Orchestra, or something like that. Where an anthropomorphic piano, basically, I don't know what happened. Somebody's probably trying to get rid of music from the world or something stupid. It's Akira. Hello. This is Burke from Trapdoor. I'm going to draw monsters from Trapdoor. This is Burke. It's a very wobbly arm. I don't think it's supposed to be quite that wobbly. No, I prefer the wobbly. It's clay. You can get away with a lot. There's Boney as well. There are a few recurring characters. He's old and kind of miserable, but he's alright. Found a magical girl show you used to watch on YouTube. It was called Jewel Riders in the US. It was called Princess Stella and the Jewel Riders in Europe. I'm a big fan of cartoons that are called Blank and the Blank. That's just the thing. Like the Castlevania music. I was, because this is kind of like a sort of kidsy horror sort of show kind of thing. And I was trying to think of some appropriate background music. Castlevania sort of works, I guess. It's set in a castle. Yeah. So that's where the title comes from anyway of the stream. It's the catchphrase of Burke. Oh, Globbits, he says when things go wrong. It's a lovely West Country accent. Hang on, slight alteration to make. Yep. So it's Burke and Boney. It is Boney, yeah. I watched them all today. Again, there's like 30 episodes of 5 minutes. It doesn't take long to watch. Tall egg friend. And then Drut, who I don't even know what Drut is. That's going to be a recurring theme throughout this stream. I don't even know what this is. It's a lump of plasticine with eyes. Drut just sort of wanders around causing havoc. Yeah, that's about it. It's a yip, it's a Drut. It's a friend. It's a good friend. Occasionally a bit. It needs to be a little bit lumpy than that. a bit better. It makes very erratic noises. That was pretty quick. So, well, there's another recurring character in the form of a friend who lives in the trapdoor. Usually monsters in the trapdoor, but occasionally friends. It's the trapdoor itself. No, it's Rog. Let's get a picture of Rog. Rog. I'm going to do this. What's the point of a trapdoor if there's not occasionally ferns coming out? There are occasionally some things that do look like ferns. They're not all animals. Friends. I know what you meant. I was just watching an episode thinking, this is supposed to be a vegetable, isn't it? Why does it look like a pelican? Oh yeah. The arms of claymation creatures, turns out they're kind of tricky. Because they're made of clay. We are almost out of the characters that actually have names. Most of them are called... Hang on, let me give you a few from the list. There is a wiki for trapdoor. And I will go through the list of monsters on the wiki. The yellow thing, the wasps, the swamp creature, the spider, the ghoulies, the thingy, the drooly worm, the slug, the little thing, the bouncing pink glob, the flying what's-it thingy. That's my favourite. The flying what's-it thingy. The green flying thing, the rock thing, small red thing, the big pink thing, and the pink thing. They're different. Anyway, Rog. Oops-a-doodle, hang on. Rog. No. You don't scroll. There's a wiki for everything. I assumed that, but I didn't expect something like Trapdoor to have it. So I guess that's more for me then. Obviously the big pink thing and the pink thing are different. One is small. Yes, the big pink thing is smaller. I don't think that's true. Right. How do you Yeah, that's about right. Rog is big. They are friend. They're a bit slow on the uptake, but they're good. Big friend. Hello, bub. I kind of wanted to. The main reason I wanted to do this is because, obviously, being lumps of plasticine hastily made into monsters, a lot of these look kind of similar. And I'm sort of thinking how much more sort of personality you can give to it when you're sort of starting with just, you know, a pencil. Arguably, plasticine can be very expressive, but, you know, limited time, limited budgets. I'm not talking Aardman level animation here. That hand's probably a little too... Well, maybe the other hand's too small. The other hand's too small. Even with foreshortening, it should be a lot bigger. Let's also change the angle. No, let's not change the angle. Hang on, let's... It's a weird pose, but you know, it's got big hands, just like Sonic. Well, can you imagine Sonic in the Dishonored universe? Would it be multiplicative or would it be exponential, do you reckon? The increase in hand growth. I'm still trying to think of a Sonic thing for the stickers we designed last week. Not think of it because I was making the finished versions of some of them today. Dishonored Sonic would be 90% hands. I'm not drawing that. Right, that's that. Now let's draw some monsters. Some unfriendly monsters. I only really remember watching Series 2 when I was a kid, so probably going to do most of the stuff from that. Maybe he's just normal hands in Dishonored. Oh, it cancels out. Who has small hands? What are we going to start with? Where do you begin with these? I'm going to start with Bubo. I remember Bubo. Little antagonistic thing. Bubo is a recurring villain, as it were, not necessarily aggressive, but definitely mischievous. Causing all sorts of havoc. Food fights and all these sorts of things. Weird hands as well. Not sure that's deliberate, but it is now. I suddenly feel like drawing Kirin. Ooh. Mr. Jindosh. I don't think Trapdoor is the kind of thing that could make a comeback. Because you can do like kind of stop motion looking things in CG. And that'll make it a lot quicker and a lot sort of faster. Quicker and faster, both of those things. It would be better, obviously, if you can keep the plasticine, but it takes time. Can't get your eyes right, Bubo. You're being mischievous again. This is a balloon with hands and feet. Funny you should say that. And the way they are defeated in their first appearance is by being blown up and let go. Spoilers for a show that was made before I was born. Why are your eyes not working? Hang on, let me add some contours to this. I think actually in their first appearance they're invisible until custard is thrown at them or something. So they are a balloon, maybe. They're weird. It's the trapdoor, you don't ask questions. You just let it happen. Also he has a penchant for throwing messy stuff. How do hands not like that? I also want to point out just how sort of disgustingly colourful this show is. It's not a pleasant colour palette, but it's definitely a lot of colour. It being a show that's trying to look sort of slightly horrible. You know, I like asking questions when you're not supposed to. You go ahead. That is part of the fun of the streams. Big old feet. What else is there to say? Another thing I was doing today, by which I mean another thing I was watching while I was trying to draw stickers, was I was watching Time Team, because somebody has gone to the trouble of putting every episode of Time Team on YouTube. Those of you who don't know, Time Team is a show about archaeology. And I quite like it as a nice relaxing background sort of thing. And it was about the city wherein I nearly live. I used to live, until not too long ago. And it was like an hour and a half sort of thing about a big excavation that they did there over 9 months. In 2002, I think it was. It's an old show. Oldish show. Not as old as this. let's pick another monster to draw while I'm chatting. And clearly the person who uploaded it to YouTube just taped it off the TV and stuck it on there, because at the end there was a continuity announcer. And like I say, it was just sort of playing on in the background while I was doing stuff. And so at the end of this, archaeology show, I just heard the continuity announcer say, "And if you'd like to buy the Time Team book, you can. It's £14 at all available retailers, or you can visit our website to order it from there." Now, next up on 4, all your questions answered about lesbian sex in the show Truth About Lesbian Sex. It's like, 2002 Channel 4, whoever your schedulers were, where exactly is the overlap between archaeology enthusiasts and people who have questions that they want terrestrial TV to answer about lesbian sex? It's just like... It's Channel 4, wild place. Sometimes they fund archaeology, sometimes they fund shows about lesbians. I don't even know what questions there would be to ask, quite frankly. Here's a woman, here's another woman, they engage in sexual activity, they hopefully have fun. Don't you open that trap door. By the way, I haven't mentioned this yet. The theme tune to this show is a banger. It's very good. So much so that they did an entire episode over using it as a accompaniment. If you're a woman who loves a woman who's into archaeology, there is. I'm sure the Venn diagram is there. But yeah, I don't know. It just took me completely by surprise. Also, hi Dark, how you doing? Yeah, so that's. I still haven't chosen. I just looked at Drut. I like my Drut. Let's draw Drut's nippers. Spoilers for Series 2. Where can I do the flying what's it or whatever it's called? The flying what's it's basically a bat, but the flying what's it thingy. Sorry, the flying what's it thingy with an F. This wiki is terrible to navigate. I will have to search for Drut. Drut's nibblers. There we go. Okay, so there's Drut. Drut's actually a bit bigger than that. So here's Drut's nibblers. They appear to have more solid feet for some reason. Or legs or whatever. So we go, there's Drut's Nibblers. Yeah, mod view apparently, which is neat because you're a mod. Because I guess we started XCOM before we moved over to Mixer, so it's a legacy mod, if you will. Haha. Yeah, okay. So that's all of the regulars, as it were. I was going to do this as a boss brush, and then I realised there are too many and I can't remember them, so let's just have a chill, chatty stream. What do we got? When do we want it? What's the GUI custody thing? Oh yeah, a bit weird. Thought about that. So some of these, like I say, it is arguably a horror thing, horror inspired anyway. So this one is, I will draw the several forms of this thing, the GUI custody thing. Form number 1, relatively straightforward. They have so much power! It's difficult to, with pencil, like, illustrate the texture of this thing. Plasticine has its merits, I guess. It's like I'm sort of thinking of, in terms of contour lines, it is a sort of... Oh, actually, his hands are kind of oddly sort of... No, only 3 fingers. It's fine. Yeah, they're sort of really triangular. Now you get the idea. It's a blob with arms. Until you realise it isn't anymore. So, Bongo Cat. Yeah, stuff. That's form number 1. Form number 2. Oh, I should say, all of Trapdoor is also on YouTube. So if you want to watch that. I have it on DVD, but it's on there. So. Do you remember DVDs? They were a thing once upon a time. back in the day. Oh, puddles, please. Same puddle. The mouth was always there, you just couldn't see it. Because it was closed. Oops. Like a tiny muck. Two. It's pretty big. We'll get your standard reference, Burke. Oops. About right. There's your standard reference, Burke, for scale. Like a medium muck, yeah. A Grymuck, if you will. And then phase 3. At the risk of giving away the game slightly, if you're watching this, Crow, maybe not. Maybe skip this one a little bit. I'm sure if you like where this is going. It's like I say, it's all plasticine. It can't hurt you. It's fine. This is one of the images that was in my head as a kid. Thank you, Trapdoor. And sort of oddly triangular hands. And people think it was just Courage the Cowardly Dog that brought horror to kids' programming. They were wrong. There you go. That's form number 3. This is the gooey custody thing. It has a face, but it doesn't want you to know it does. Or it has the constituent components of a face at the very least. Right, next thing. Consider the following. No. Discuss. For 5 pages. I like the lump. It's just a different shape. You do the lump. Gotta love these names. Again, the lump comes in 2 forms. 5 pages of full of no. I'm gonna put this together. So the lump appears to begin relatively similar. A little bit more lumpy, funnily enough. Got some sort of folds and. Also some slightly unsettling strands of hair. Yeah, just a sort of weird lumpy thing. That's about right. It also does have like some sort of swirls of colour in it. Did I mention how sort of colourful this program is, and not in a pleasant way. This is bright pink and navy blue splodges. So that's form 1, which is not particularly appealing. Let's get your standard reference book for reference, I guess. Oh, it smells disgusting as well. Swells help a little before you were just imagining it to be skin colour, which was horrible. I don't think anything is skin coloured in this. Any skin colour. Everything's pink or blue or green, or there's just all fantastical colours. Big lump. Big old lump. Like I say, this is not the form that is my favourite. Again, form number 1. These are field notes on the monsters of Trapdoor. Form number 2. It's remarkably similar to begin with, so I might as well just copy it. A few slight alterations. A couple of little lumps hither and thither, and then some of those lumps become slightly more exaggerated. That's a choice. It makes lots of noises. You might think I'm done drawing these. You would be wrong. These are all sort of slightly shaking as they make noises. They just sort of pop in and out, really. Here's one that's not quite fully formed yet. That one's sort of making its way out. Yeah, this show had very different monsters. If you thought it was all big teeth and large claws and stuff, you were wrong. This one just smells bad and sounds horrible. So that's the lump. Now let's do something completely different. The imp. Why not? This was a weird episode. Right. So the imp's relatively straightforward. Bring that back a bit. Anyway, what's everybody doing on Saturday evening / morning / time zones? I say relatively straightforward. The shoulders of this creature are on its head. Then again, it is mostly head. Like pigtails but arms, yeah. Which is weird because pigtails is not referring to tails, it's referring to hair. So it's like pigtails but hair but arms. Let's bring that back a bit more. As soon as I try and draw something with structure. Watching good crisp stream and chilling. Wonderful with the chillin'. Chillins. Chillses. Working too much, eating and Pokemon is your Saturday. Oh no. Not with the working too much, please. Hey, I don't know if you've heard, but working too much. How about no? I'm sure that's something that's never crossed your mind. Whoops. This is not a particularly accurate version of this guy, but it'll do. Pretty unusual wings. Sort of like that, really. That's about it. Might be a little more like that. Not exactly impressive. Staring at some laundry, you need to fold too. Might fall asleep again soon because you're very tired, but yeah, no real plans. Go sleep. Sleep's good. Oh, so they're like on the... Hang on, these emanate from the shoulders. Which are on the head. This is another song again, isn't it? Shut up. Needs must to ensure the capitalist machine keeps grinding on. Oh, no. That capitalist machine. The more I hear about it. Yeah. So yeah, this little guy has control over reality. How about that? Like I say, some of these are esoteric creatures. Some of them are scary because they're big and have claws. This one's just scary because it can change anything about you. It can make you turn orange, or really tall, or into a six-legged horse thing. I was expecting it to be absolutely awful, but it's, yeah, salvageable. Here's what he did to drop. If I recall, there is long drop. Here is our standard reference book. Yeah, that's an imp. That's Sir Imple. Tall boy. Tall. No, we might as well try and draw the flying what's it thingy. Like, I admire whoever it was who made this wiki. Well, apparently updated a lot of the entries 2 weeks ago. But their grammar is certainly something to like, just the discovery of a full stop would be great. It's sort of difficult to see what's going on with the body of this thing, so let's make it up. Oh, no, there it is. Okay, cool. So this is a nice, simple little one. There's a lot of sort of lumpy bits. Yep, that seems about right. By the way, if anybody came here late and you don't know why I'm doing this, neither do I. I had trapdoor on in the background while I was working today, and I thought, yeah, good reason as any. Looks like it doesn't fly particularly well. Come on, Chris, you can draw. And give you some sort of symmetry. Does look very rough and ready in the original, but we can give them a little bit of structure. Plasticine is not known for its flight abilities. You haven't seen how much of it gets thrown in this show. Is that the end of Muzak? That may be the end of Muzak. Let's pick another Castlevania to... not Castlevania. Castlevania Ost. Castlevania 4. That's about an hour. Sure, let's do that. It's going to be loud. Okay, that'll do. Anything can fly if your arm's good enough. It's reminiscent of the hypnosis sketch from Monty Python. I hypnotize bricks to sleep. The one with the wall chicken. That's all of them, isn't it? Yeah, this thing just flies around. It just comes out the trapdoor, flies around for a bit. About it. Not particularly malicious. It's just around. The thing upstairs, i.e. the master of the castle, happens to be allergic to flying what's-it thingies. But apart from that, it's not really a threat. Good boy. No, let him go. Let's try it. What else we got? We have... the opposite end of the spectrum, the clawed pink creature, which is not the pink creature, nor the big pink creature. Maybe up here. Actually, I guess we should have a standard reference book. Standard reference. Tiny boy. It's a little thing. Little thing. Flits around. That was good. Claw pink creature, on the other hand. Doesn't do an awful lot of good. Basic shape. What are we going to start with the basic shape? Just pick up. Oh, no. And then these. Then that sort of just goes forward like that. Like this. And then out of here comes the this one has sort of Triclops hands, as 'twere. Not Triclops then, but I don't know Latin or Greek well enough. Three-fingered. I was going to say trimanual, but that's 3 hands. Oh, by the way, I want to point out another thing. Do you remember me saying recently I want a concept art book of all of the concept art for Final Fantasy IX? I sort of gave up and just spent an evening downloading every piece of concept art I could find. So I'm making my own anyway. Not really, but in doing so, I was on the Final Fantasy wiki, reading about some of the bits and bobs of Final Fantasy IX. And there is a major plot point in the first disc of Final Fantasy IX that only after reading the wiki do I now understand. I have played that game I don't know how many times. And now I understand what was happening in the first half of the game. Like, I understood the whole character thing, but the motivation behind a lot of what happens was just sort of lost on me. I got... Which bit? It was... When does disc 1 end? No, it's literally the first 2 discs. It's the bit with the stones and why they want the stones. I never knew. I was playing the game and I was like, there's a lot of MacGuffins in this. But only now do I know why they wanted all the stones. Because that's obviously it's like a throwback to Final Fantasy, the original ones. There are the 4 crystals, and you must save them and all that sort of stuff. And I was like, they don't really do much in this game, do they? Yeah, they do. It doesn't really matter what they do. Which is probably why I've never thought about it. But nonetheless, I now understand what the first 2/3 of the game is about. It's not consequential to the plot, because reasons. But, you know, it's good to know these things. I think that just goes to show what my my priorities are with games and game storytelling. If you can't tell it through the characters, I'm probably not interested. Doesn't matter for the final boss because reasons. Nothing matters for the final boss. Do you want to tell me the thing that annoys me most about the final boss? And subsequently I found out this is annoying for most final bosses, and this isn't spoilers or anything. Is a lot of final bosses in Final Fantasy games, didn't realise this, they have a fixed AI, by which they mean, like most enemies in these games, they think in terms of, Here's my move list. Here are the targets I could choose. I will choose a random move, use it on a random target or targets, and keep doing that until you kill me. That's the AI of pretty much every enemy in these games. The last boss of Final Fantasy IX is even more stupid than that, and they just have a pre-ordered list of moves that they just go through every single time. Move number 1, move number 2, move number 3. They are 100% predictable. Which is just nuts as far as I'm concerned. Anyway, I just find it funny. Final boss, the most predictable thing in the game. That I think is very indicative of how those games approach challenge. Challenge has nothing to do with intelligence or adaptation or anything like that. It's just big numbers, annoying statuses. That's it. That's all they care about. Anyway, here's the spiky things. Back to Trapdoor for a few seconds. That said, there is, having played it recently, there is slightly more justification for the end of the game than I used to give it credit for. Slightly more. You know, arguably more than 8. Because there are a couple of things in that just pulled out of nowhere. But, you know, it's a tradition in Final Fantasy games, the final boss, you know, better than the Cloud of Darkness from 3. It's not even a cloud. In fact, they said that on the wiki. There is a connection, as it were, between the Cloud of Darkness, in as much as they come out of nowhere. Final boss of FF12 is the same guy 3 times more monstrous each time, but if anything, you can complete the whole main story at like level 40 because you bopped in one's first form and guild. Marvelous. It's a common thing in Final Fantasies that the final boss consists of multiple stages of the same thing. Usually getting more and more monstrous each time, usually getting more and more bits each time. I think that's one of the things I quite like about 7, is that the final boss of 7, the final proper boss of 7, is it's bombastic, certainly, but it's not the usual continuation of just add more bits. You know, they've kind of got that with the Bizarro form beforehand, but they went with a simpler, more stylized wing thing. Angelic, what's it? Like a normal attack, 3 bops for the second, and then ultimate is poor man Sephiroth. One of these days I'll get around to playing 12. Not sure when. I don't own it. I own 13. And the best thing I've ever heard anybody say about 13 is it gets good after 60 hours. Which I think is great. What a glowing recommendation. Actually, no, the best thing I've heard about 13 is 13.3 is pretty good. But it gets good after 3 games. That shape made sense in my head. That works. The eyes are a bit smaller, actually. To be fair, there's lots of games and series that take time to hit their stride, but it's FF. Yeah, I don't know. I think the weird thing about Final Fantasy is obviously the fact that they just replace everything every game. They're just like, right, okay, cool, we've done that. Now a completely different universe, completely different mechanics, completely different characters. It's just like completely different plot, completely different quality. It's just nuts. They very rarely iterate on a theme, particularly mechanically. The older games more so, but even then, you know, we have what, 3 games with the job system out of 15. I miss the one thing mechanically speaking that I really like about 9 is learning abilities from equipment. There's something really satisfying about that. I couldn't care less about levels. It was all about those abilities, of getting all those AP, learning, filling up all of the ability menus and stuff. It's very satisfying. But that does mean that the end of the game is quite dull, because once you've learned everything, you've learned everything. I don't know. Anyway, here's the big pink claw thingy. The clawed pink thing. That's the name. I think they saw the peril of the COD way of play early. In what sense? You also like picking abilities to equip. That is really cool. When I was messing around with ideas for a sort of RPG sort of system, I hinged it basically around that idea. The idea was slightly different because I wanted to link it to active abilities in a sense, but that you could equip sort of active and passive ones, and there was a trade-off of how many of each you could have. You know, are you going to have more points to spend in battle to use active abilities, or are you going to use them to equip passive abilities? So there was a sort of they were connected in a way, but it's nice how it's done in 9. Although you never quite have enough to have everything you want, which I think is the best way of doing it. But you're just like, I just need 3 more gems or whatever they are. If this was a free-to-play game, they'd be like, you can have, for the next 3 battles, you can have 10 more gems per character if you pay 50 cents. Here's your standard reference book. High five. High five. Just like here is a game, here is a game, here is same game with different paint, here's the same game with less in, but you can sprint now. Yeah, it's... Yeah, I guess it's sort of... I'd rather have something that's completely different each time, than that. You know, that's the thing I also quite like about the From Software at the moment, is they're very much, you know, we've done that. What's next? Whereas they could so easily have just gone, right, everyone likes Dark Souls, more of that. I mean, they did 3, but 3 games in an extraordinarily popular series is not surprising. Nor is it a lot. I'm amazed there was no DLC for Sekiro. But, yeah. What else is there? More plasticine monsters, please. Give me something that looks different. Like I said, I don't even remember. And having only really paid attention to the second series when I was a kid, a lot of these are not familiar. And how it is Demon Souls, but how we wanted it to look like, had we time, and we have time, and we had time to finish it now, hopefully, anyway. You would expect they'd have time to finish it. Thought? We'll do Thought. Let's do thought. Yeah, it is annoying that I bought the generation of PlayStation consoles that was after the one you could play Demon's Souls and before the one you can play Demon's Souls. And the next one will be able to play Bloodborne. So, if I'd have just been patient, I could have played Demon's Souls and Bloodborne. You have no recollection of Season 2 of Trapdoor, you have Season 1 on repeat for quite some time while reading RPG books not long ago. I had the same but the other way around. So, together, our knowledge is unstoppable. So you should know Thought. Thought was in the first series, I believe. I'm not too familiar. How much? Okay, so there's sort of like... No. Down here there's like some roots and things. Thought is a vegetable. I should point this out. Hope you ever stay spoiler free of Demon's Souls until you get the chance to play it, and hope you do enjoy it. I have deliberately been avoiding, because when the announcement happened that Demon's Souls was being remade, loads of people started playing Demon's Souls. So I was like, ah, God. Got to avoid stuff. I've managed to avoid a fair old chunk. I reckon more than half of the game I have no understanding of at all. Which is by far the most of any of the Soulsborne games I went into. You know, like Bloodborne I knew everything. Sekiro I knew pretty much everything. Dark Souls, not so much. Dark Souls 2 was the most so far that I didn't know. But at the same time, that's Dark Souls 2, so... I love it, but it's not great. Thank you. And good luck also to anybody else out there who's trying to stay spoiler-free. I believe I know what the ending is. I believe. And I was spoiled the other day on one thing about the ending, which I won't say because otherwise I'll spoil it for other people. Almost caught myself doing that. Almost messed that up. It's so easy, isn't it? I can't remember, there was someone who... Oh, it was the last Star Wars film, whatever it was. And someone spoiled that and they were like, that was ages ago though, surely that's fine. And someone pointed out it was like a year ago or something? Less than a year? The reaction from the community was spectacular at the Demon's Souls remake. I certainly, the fact that it's a remake, I think is very significant for a lot of people. Sort of like, if it was a remaster, it would have been cool. People would be able to play it on new consoles, great. But the fact that it's a remake, that's going to make pretty much every member of the, or fan of the series happy. New and old. Good on them. Still no Bloodborne cart. When can I race Eileen in a little cart through Yharnam? You play that? I can't remember where Bloodborne cart came from. I think it was like a parody thing of everyone talking about Bloodborne 2 announcement. There's going to be a Bloodborne 2 announcement. There's going to be a Bloodborne 2 announcement for however many years that's been going on now. It's like, they probably won't. They probably won't. And I'm fine with that. Bloodborne is exceptionally good on its own. Sekiro is the first FromSoft game I've walked away from thinking this could, like, a sequel for this could work pretty well. You know, otherwise you would have to do what they did with Dark Souls, which is basically reinvent it every time. Want some more Elden Ring news? It'll come along. I'm thinking of it basically as a kind of, almost sort of like a harkening back to their older style of games. If you've ever seen, like Elden Ring, not Elden Ring, Eternal Ring. Let's get those mixed up. FromSoft did an old game called Eternal Ring, which is like the Kingsfield series. Bloodborne 2 Trials of the Slug. I doubt you'd be playing as the same character. That would be cool. Actually, no, that would be cool if you took the... you could... No, actually, in 2 endings could work. Because obviously the first ending is... The simplest ending, except Gehrman's offer, is just you wake up. End of game. But then there's the other one, which is you fight Gehrman, but don't know anything about, you know, the great ones of the dream and all that sort of stuff, and then you sort of become Gehrman. Kind of ish. Sorry, I'm spoiling things again, aren't I? Either way, that could work. That could be interesting. It's a bit like sort of the end of Dark Souls 3 in a sense. Anyway, this is Thought. No, don't do that. Which ending of 3 there's like 4? No, I mean the final boss. The fact that the final boss is connected to the players being significant, if that makes sense. Also, none of the endings of 3 are particularly interesting. That's my opinion. But then again, you don't really play Dark Souls for the ending, do you? Shapes, 3D shapes, how do you work? I do not know. I may never know. Bloodborne 2, so much salt. Well, there was the idea of doing Bloodborne in a kind of sort of Mesoamerican sort of setting, because that I think thematically that works quite well, and it does allow for just a completely new lore. Because you only need the kind of mechanics of the lore to stay intact. This idea of old gods and blood, and corruption of humans based on the desire for power and knowledge. And you can kind of do that anyway. It doesn't have to be Victorian, sort of Victorian London-esque. Imagine if there was like a save load feature and you had to fight all of the builds you finished the game with. That would be cool. That's your NG+. Your NG+ is you have to fight all of your previous wins. There are a lot of features for 3 that they scrapped. They were going to do a portable bonfire mechanic where you could set up bonfires where you wanted. They scrapped that. Yeah, that's Thought. We've got time for a couple more. There's one here called the Spider. It's a massive spider. There's a thing called the Blob. I don't even know what that is. I watched these today and I don't know. What are you, an elephant? It's a frog? Oh, is it like a shapeshifting sort of thing? Probably. Oh, the tentacled mouth. That's weird. Oh, you know what? The see if I can do them justice. The phantoms. Yeah, let's do that. Oh yeah, sorry. Standard reference, but Burke. Gotta get that standard reference Burke in there. That's about right, actually. Yeah, that works. But yeah, the Mummy Demastered, I believe, had a similar sort of thing where rather than, or I suppose Hollow Knight also kind of had that. Where you, in order to get your, as it were, souls back, rather than just picking them up when you get there, you have to fight the previous version of yourself. Friends, Thought was helpful. Thought was not malicious, I don't believe. Burke is the new standard of unit of measurement. Absolutely, it's a standard reference back. I'm gonna need that 2.5 Burks longer. 2.5? Well, 2.75. It was in both games. Yes, I Hollow Knight's more just general Phantom. I don't know about the Mummy Demastered. But I do want to play that at some point. It looks surprisingly good. Yes, Phantoms. Okay, so Phantoms are sort of like, here's a wall. Come on. The Phantoms just sort of... it's a guy that looks like you. Okay, so it's not like straight up, you know, the equipment you had is what they have or whatever. I guess in the Mummy you just sort of turn undead or whatever, so it's not going to fight with the same sort of skill set. Might have your abilities. Oh, okay. Don't know. I have the game on Switch. We haven't yet played it. I heard it's a lot better than it has any right to be as a movie tie-in game for not a particularly good movie. Now that I think about it, these guys remind me of a particular Muppet, but I don't know which one. And have your equipment too? Not certain. It would make sense that it would have the equipment at least, but not necessarily use it in the same way you would. I don't know. I just remember when it was announced, I was like, yeah, whatever. And heard people say, actually good. Who'd have thought? The great thing about everything being made of plasticine is I don't have to worry about lines being straight. It's plasticine. You can get away with it. You already like Metroid games? Like, yeah, Metroid games are good times. Still need to play a Metroid game that isn't the first one. I should also probably play some Castlevania at some point. Again, it's annoying that I have it on Vita, but that console hurts my hands. Makes my hands feel like these ones, which do not resemble hands. That's how bad it is. I played a Meowtroid. I did do that. I tried to do, because there's an achievement for beating the game in under an hour, and I tried to do that, but there was a lift that really annoyed me, so I stopped. But I got pretty good at the rest of the game. A little too big. Ah, that's about it, really. That's what they look like. Funnily enough, these exist in the story as a, I guess, environmental parable. Don't litter, or these guys will come after you. They just sort of pop out of things and go. What else? What else? What else is in this show? Quite a lot of plasticine, I know. We do the Splund. The Splund is just, like, visually speaking, nothing much to write home about. In terms of audio, in the wiki, it has a date of death. I guess, yeah. Spoilers, but... Oh, hang on. Standard reference, but... Oh, Globbits. Again, that's not far off. I draw things to scale. Who knew? Yeah. Try and find any consistency in my drawings. Yeah. Okay. Splund. The Splund. You're a weird shape. There's like a circle. It's a good start. Add a weird lump to the top of it. Just a few more sort of lumps on the side. This thing looks like it has been inflated. It doesn't look like it's supporting its own weight. You can call me the Splund. I can't even remember what this one does. It's just weird. Balloon creature. That actually probably is why I think it's blown up, given how it dies. Yeah, it's just... I advise anyone to look up. I think the episode is called The Splund. Just look it up for its laugh. And it just sort of occasionally sticks its tongue out for no particular reason. Like, not like sticking it out deliberately, just sort of like letting it slip out and then come back in again. It's weird. The splund is weird. Who'd have thought? Kel Surprise, the splund. Something called the splund is unsettling. It does have legs, apparently. I remember it just sort of rolling around. And then also tiny arms, which it also sticks in its mouth. It's just weird. Like this is something that could probably have appeared in Courage. Yeah, that's basically. I don't think I've quite captured just how unsettling it is, but better. I should also point out that this show has very harsh lighting. There's very like strong shadows of things. No, it's unsettling. Yeah, but is it unsettling enough? I think it's the fact that it's just so not quite the shape you think it should be. As well as literally everything else about it. Anyway, that's the splund. Standard reference book. Yeah, that's about right. What else? We could do one more, quick one. I like the green flying thing, which is not the same as the flying what's-it thingy, even though the flying what's-it thingy is green. But I don't think I can really draw the green flying thing particularly well, because it's just... I don't know. Like, I don't think I can draw that with any particular justice. It's too soft. You know, my simple pencil outline drawings tend to thrive on harsh lines. That thing's just soft. I think it's a sponge. You can draw the thingy. Draw the thingy. The thingy again, I remember being sort of odd and... Yeah, this was another one that could just sort of change things just for fun. Doesn't appear to be malicious. It's just messing around. Almost like sort of childish. It looks a bit like a child, actually. Like a weird. Let's draw it. That's what we're doing here, isn't it? We're drawing. Try may wish to know there is one of them that's just called tentacles. It's just a thing. I think this one does have tentacles. It does. Cool. We end on a high. You remember this one? This one was from Series 1. I just remember it from watching it today. This was the prototype for the imp, kind of. Sort of regret not drawing it with its mouth open, to be honest, because it's got a personality. This one. Yeah, most of it's just colour as well. There's just sort of splotches of blue. Blue among pink. There's a nice picture here. I'm just going to sort of stretches its whole face sort of up, and then it is very lumpy, I should point that out. It's like a lot of... Although I think that goes without saying at this point. Got a horrible Kirby and I drawing now. I'm drawing the thingy. It's a gloopy boo. Something, alright. It also shoots electricity out of its eyes, so... And then changes the world accordingly. And for the last time today, here is your standard reference book. Again, pretty close. A bit bigger, I reckon. Also, now that I've copied this several hundred times, I think it's probably worth doing. I fixed bug. Have I seen the Dark Souls 3 mod Cinders? I saw it a few months ago. Apparently it changes beyond all recognition every few months. They keep adding so many things to it. But I am aware of its existence and that it changes a lot of stuff. Yeah. It looks interesting. They do similar mods for Dark Souls 1 and 2 as well, where they sort of weapons have certain attributes and armor is worth paying attention to for once. But anywho, yes, thank you for the heads up anyway. I may get around to playing it at some point, but I do want to play things that aren't Souls games on stream. Speaking of which, tomorrow we continue with Dark Souls 3. Where are things? Link, plonk. There are things. That's my cat. We might as well, at least for tomorrow, because I don't have an awful lot. Magic in it looks a lot more fun. Does magic? I can't remember anything about the magic in the game, but I'm sure they've changed that as well. So yeah. More game with Kitty. I don't know if my cat's going to be in the game. Probably not. It would be weird if she was. Yeah, I don't know if we're going to finish the randomizer, at least not on stream. It was just an interim thing to do when we're moving over to Twitch. But yeah, no, maybe we will. Who knows? All cats should feature all cats should feature my game specifically. All games should feature my cat specifically. She would be indifferent to it. She would want to be in games where there's food in abundance, but that's about it. She's like that. So yeah, a bit more Dark Souls 3 tomorrow. We'll probably try something else on games next week. But until then, we have Citadel of Chaos on Tuesday. We didn't do a lot last time. We found a gargoyle, then ran away. Then we found something else that ran away. What was the other thing we found? Oh yeah, the chair. I forgot about the chair. The horrible human chair. Poor thing. And you lost a chunk of your ear. That also happened. Or Beth lost a chunk of her ear. Yes. So get ready for the exciting follow-up to that. Ferocious Furnishings, Knife Carpet. Yeah. So that's that. Have a wonderful continuation to your weekends. I hope, Chibi, you feel a bit better as time goes on. Kiro, I hope you get some good sleep. Dark, I hope you don't have to work too much. Ragdoll, I hope your students aren't quite so obtuse. And all other friends, hello, hope you're doing well. And I hope you have a wonderful weekend that is full of relaxation and a good time. Christy, hello! You are very late. I'm literally about to stop. But that's fine, because the VOD's there if you want to catch up on it. We drew some things. We drew some things from an old TV show. If you're interested in that sort of stuff. Hope you had a good stream. I hope you had a good time doing things that were not the stream. Yeah. I drew many things. I drew at least 12 things. Which is more than usual on these streams. Usually I maximum of like 6 or 7 nowadays. Take far too much time focusing on the details, and you can't do that when you're trying to draw something that's made of plasticine. Yeah. But I'm glad you popped along to say hello anyway, at least. I hope you're doing well, Christy. Hope you having a good weekend. And looking after yourself and all that. And the same goes to the rest of you. And I hope your weekend continues to be great, and I hope next week is just as good, if not better. So yeah. Enjoy yourselves, look after yourselves, have a wonderful time. I don't know if the next song on this OST is going to be good enough for an outro music, but it'll do, because I'm not bringing up anything else. No, I hope you have a breathtaking weekend. Love you too. And also with you. Goodbye.